All right, so I want to talk about biography. Now, I love a great story. Everybody loves a great story. Now, when you wind up finding a story that you vibe with, that's why when you watch a inspirational movie, it's because there's a connection that you make, right? Most of those movies that are really moving are the hero story where somebody's cruising along, they've got aspirations, they something happens. It could be injustice, it could be they do something stupid, it could be, but there's something that happens and then they decide, you know what? Screw this. I'm overcoming this. And they go and they may get punched a few more times. They may get punched a whole lot, but then they take off and finally they get some kind of success, right? Now, what about you? What about your life? You've got these aspirations and then something happens and then you just quit? Is that the way is that the inspirational story that you're telling? Why not have that story that is inspirational? Now this is where biography comes in. One of the greatest tools that you can get is a book of biographies, a book of stories about people's lives where they had to overcome real stuff, right? If you look at your life on the spectrum of people that had to overcome crap, be honest. Where are you on that? If you go through and you read biographies of people from 100 years ago, 200, 300, 400 years ago, and you start reading about how, they didn't have fresh running water. They didn't have a warm place to stay. They didn't have, they experienced injustice. They experienced real reason to fear for their lives. Like when you start to discover just how much some people have overcome, this isn't to beat you down or make you feel guilty. This is to empower you. You can do this, okay? You can do this. You're a human being, okay? You may need to encourage yourself to become one of those guys. But what if you could become one of those guys? What if you could become that guy in your family that becomes disproportionately successful in whatever area of life it is that you're targeting that's important to you? What if you could become that guy, that gal? Okay. I love the story of I love the autobiography of Booker T. Washington, who at a very early age, born a slave, becomes free, and then he has to deal with all of the aftermath of the Civil War. And his attitude is super, super, super inspiring. I kept reading this book just amazed and so happy to read about this guy that decided that he was going to do something awesome with his life, and he didn't wait for anybody to come in and invite him. He didn't wait for somebody to come and say, "Hey, I see something in you." He didn't wait for any of that. He just went after life, and he took some beatings for sure, but he just went after life. And I love his account. There was a guy that I remember reading about in the early 90s, and he was under the impression that there was no opportunity. He had had people whispering in his ears for years about how, there's no opportunity and you should just give up and quit, and on and on and on. And he joined the army, and one of the things that he did while he was in the army was go to Sudan. And while he was there, he saw what no opportunity really looked like, and decided that he actually had a lot more opportunity than he thought that he did. And the thing is that this is the power of biography. This is the power of story. I love there's two books that I absolutely love to get opened up and get to reading. I would encourage you to find somebody that you vibe with. Somebody that you think about them and you're like, man, you know what? I think they overcame some things that are similar to me, and go pick up their book. Go find somebody that you can't relate to at all, that was raised in another country, another time period. But like anybody that does something inspirational has to overcome something. Go find somebody that took a beating on the way to doing something great. Um, a couple of really great books for interviews with people are going to be Tools of Titans and Tribe of Mentors. I love reading these books. Um, they're from a podcaster named Timothy Ferriss, and though they're not biography in themselves, it does have a whole lot of biographical stuff where people talk about stuff that they overcame, things, experiences that they've had. But when you wind up seeing the real hero story, not a fictional book, this is why when we watch movies, we get inspired sometimes. It's always following a very similar arc. Some guy minding their own business. They will sometimes have some aspirational dream that they go after, or they're just minding their own business. Either way, they get punched and dropped to the ground. And then they say, screw this. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to like live this way. I'm going to go and do something awesome. And they fight that and resist it and they overcome something. And that is how they wind up having that inspirational story where they overcame something. And what you need to do is find somebody that's overcome something like what you're overcoming and read about them. Go figure that out, okay? Because what never happens in a movie is people just say, hey, I'm going to go do something cool. And they just go do something cool, right? They always have to overcome something. And what you never see in a movie is they get punched in the head and they just stay down, right? Neither of those stories ever get told. The one that's inspiring, the one that you should tell, is the one about how you went for it, you had to overcome something, and eventually you had success. And the fact is that if you may not have success, okay, it may not happen, but what happens if you don't go for it? What happens if you don't work and you're laying there on your deathbed and you're going, man, I wonder if it could have happened. I wonder if I should have tried. That's what breaks old people on their deathbed, is when they realize that they didn't even really try. So go try, go work at it, go pursue that thing. Okay. I'm Adam Funderburg. I'm the owner of High Caliber Coaching. If you need help trying to get yourself unstuck in your head so that you can go prosper, get those great relationships, and live a life that you really want to live, go to www.highcalibercoaching.org and sign up. If you go there, there's a free course where you can watch videos, download PDFs, worksheets, and that sort of thing. And you can test out some of the courses, or one of the courses at least. All right. I'm Adam Funderburg, and I will catch you later. Bye-bye.